This is a punk with toys, and today I have, wow, a bunch of stuff that I have to go over, but I'm not going to do it all today because if you can take a quick look behind me, you're going to see that I have loads and loads of Masters of the Universe Origins stuff to go over. I've actually been sitting on some stuff for a little bit. I got some stuff in today, or yesterday finally, and finally the stuff in Big Bad Toys came. Not going to blame Big Bad Toys because for some odd reason FedEx decided to keep my package for, I don't know, a week and a half, about an hour down the road. But here it is, Sunday, and it shows up. So, as you can see, I have all kinds of things. I have the Eternity Palace Guard. I have Castle Grayskull, which I wasn't going to go over, but what I want to go over today, they kind of go together, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I have Wave 7, I believe, or Wave 8, and then I have Wave 6 or 7 in here that I've, no, actually this is 6 or 7, but I've had the older wave, because I found that at Target earlier, but I wanted to wait. I'm going to start doing the waves together since it's only 4 figures. I also got Mosquito in the back. But I got so much stuff. And I've had Castle Grayskull for quite some time. I know people are finally starting to find it over at Target. I've never seen one at Target, but I'm also not looking for it. I found this one back in the summer at Walmart. And oddly enough, they were in the Lego aisle because they didn't have enough room for it. So, what we're going to be looking at today is I'm going to quickly go over Castle Grayskull as quickly as I can. But the big thing that I want to talk about is the Mysteries of Grayskull. And they go hand in hand. Now, the Mysteries of Grayskull was the Mattel Creations exclusive. And I watched a video, and they specifically did certain things on purpose that they left out of Castle Grayskull. And I did miss it on the first time around, and then they reissued it. And it was great. Great that they reissued them again, and I was able to get it. Especially for only $30, which, in all honesty, it makes Grayskull look better. But Grayskull is so big, you really have to find a way to display it because you really want to show it from the back. So, quickly, let's take a look at the box of Castle Grayskull. And let's just say, this thing is big. And if you're walking up, I can't even get it all in the frame. But, here we go. So, this is the box. It's big. Alright, so there's no hiding that you're a child dressed as a man. But it looks very similar to the original from what I remember. I never had it, but obviously we all saw it, and it does come with the Sorceress in all white. Now, if you were able to take a quick look, you probably would have seen the other Sorcerers back there. From single pack. And here we go. It's all the figures that were out at that time or were about to come out. And I did not review all of them because I started doing the Masters of the Universe a little bit later. And that's all on the top of the box. It shows you everything that it comes with. And if you collected Masters of the Universe or played with them as a kid, you remember all this stuff came with it. But there was always one thing that was missing. You know, I wouldn't know this, because I didn't even remember. Because, again, I only had a small amount of Masters of the Universe playsets or vehicles. I had a bunch of the figures, but I was a G.I. Joe fan, and anyone that follows my channel knows G.I. Joe's my big thing. So, it was one thing that they did talk about, and they said, hey, you know what? There's one thing missing, and I believe it was a cardboard cutout of the spacesuit. And that's where this comes from. So, Mattel Creations sent this out. I was able to get it. There we go, there's the front of it. And it comes in this wonderful, wonderful box with tape. And the first thing that I thought was, wow. I mean, you give me this really, really nice box, and then you put tape on it that I'm going to have to cut, which would be fine if it was at the back, but it's right in the front. So I cut it, take a razor, and I cut it, and I open it up to pull out the stuff. I come to realize, if I can get this thing out now, that this is the cover box. Kind of like the way that Hasbro Pulse and even Amazon has shipped some of their classified figures, except for this box has all this nice detail all on it. You know, it tells you what it is: Maps of the Universe, Mysteries of Grayskull. Even the back. I mean, they do a really great job. And then you open it up and you have this wonderful box art. And you go, okay, well, so that's not the real box now, is it? And you can see the front here, and it's all embroidered. I don't know if you can't really see it, but this is all embroidered, so it looks really nice. On the back, it shows you everything that you get. So you have the Explorer spacesuit. What is it? The Orlax of Primaria. And the Spirit of Grayskull. And the best thing about this is, it's just swing it open, and all the figures just kind of pop out. Some of them have bands that you have to cut, but not a big deal because you can just put them right back in. I gotta say, they've done a wonderful, wonderful job of just making it so, like, the exclusives that I've gotten, the convention things, I've gotten 2 of them. They come nicely boxed. With artwork on it, so it's pretty cool. I like the way that Hasbro's doing the classified figures. Like, whenever they sent them out, they're packaged inside a package. Now, this thing came, let me just say, the other thing was, this thing came in a box bigger than everything that I got from Big Bad Toys. Just this one thing, all bubble wrapped. And then this is in here to protect your case. So Mattel, if anyone's watching, wonderful job of packaging. I love the fact that you put you put designs and artwork on your actual packaging to protect your package. So there we go. That's our box of the Mysteries of Grayskull. Everything that comes with it, but again, it opens up and you'd be able to see everything. Obviously, I have everything taken out already. So I'm gonna put this to the side. I'm not gonna go over the boxes like I normally do because there's just so much to go over. I'm not going over all the figures right now. I'm gonna guess throughout the week I'll be doing it, as I don't really have anything else coming in. I have all this Motu stuff that I got to get through and do some reviews on and show you guys and even compare them to some of the other figures. So without any more wasting time, let's do Castle Grayskull quickly, and then we'll look at the Mysteries of Grayskull and show how they work together. Alright, so here we go. I'm not even sure I'm going to do this because obviously you can't get the whole Castle Grayskull into focus in the frame without moving the camera around. So I'll just move the camera around a little bit. So let's first start off with your Sorceress figure that comes with it. And I don't remember if a Sorceress came with the original Castle Grayskull. As I said, I never had it, so I don't even remember. I do remember her having a staff, or there being a staff, and I do remember there being a Sorceress, but if I remember correctly, it was that one, which is one that I did recently get in, and it's from the most recent wave that's been released, and we will talk about that in a day or so. So here's a Sorceress. She has her wings. She's all white. Everything comes up, kind of, they give her a little bit of detail. Again, nothing too much, her staff, different things like that. Again, not much to it, not much to the characters, but, she has her little eagle hair, hood, mask, whatever it is, and then her staff. So, and then they give you this battering ram for training. As you can see, is a giant fist. Hey, look at that. It's kind of like the big, giant Joe Louis fist in downtown Detroit. Man, imagine. You know what? Oh, man, it makes me think it's... Anyway, if you're not from Detroit, you have no idea what I'm talking about. If you're not from Detroit, look it up. Look up Giant Joe Louis Fist, and you will see it. It's the heart of Detroit. And then here we go. We got some weapons that it comes with. And you probably all know we've seen these weapons on other figures before. At least some of them. So you have these other weapons that it comes with. And you get this awesome laser gun. You know, I've never really understood how Mode 2 is, because most of the stuff is more barbaric type stuff. But then they have all these lasers and stuff. I guess it was a good mix of everything. And if we scroll up to the top here, you can see this looks very much like the vintage one. And yes, again, if you take a staff or a sword, you unlock the door like that. So once again, that is the way the trap door opens up. The mouth, the door, and then it locks. And if you remember correctly, and I do, that you were supposed to put the two swords, He-Man and Skeletor swords, together to make it unlock. Obviously, anything would unlock. So there's that, and here's the ladder that you'll have to have on the inside. So we'll quickly open this up as everything falls down. And this is truly a carrying case, because on the side here, if you lock it, you can see here they have these two locks that are made so you can lock it, so you can carry and put your figures in it and not lose anything. So you want to take it to Grandma and Grandpa's house. Again, most of us are adults, and unfortunately, most of our grandparents have probably passed on. But if you have kids, and I did a video about how I think this is the best toy for adults and their kids because of the nostalgic feel and how these things are made to be beat up. So open this up. Oh yeah, and then you have the back of Castle Grayskull. I guess I should have looked at that. There's really not much to it, but when it opens up, it's obviously pretty large. But they don't really have anything. There's nothing that you can do. No pegs or anything to put the figures on. So here we'll open this up. And anyone that had Castle Grayskull as a kid or played with it will remember this looks almost the exact same. You have your little computer and everything. You have your trap door. Again, if it spins, so the chair spins and it drops down into your pit right here, which again, we're going to go over that in a minute because, well, that's kind of what this Mysteries of Grayskull is. Then you have your ladder that sits up there, so you can climb up to the top. You have your flag, which has a peg there, or a peg there for bigger things. And I think anyone that's seen it, and I don't have it yet, I'm kind of waiting, hopefully find it in discount, but the Wind Raider can actually plug into this, so it makes it look like it's flying over it, which is actually a nice design. And if you look back at the other video that I did of the He-Man Target exclusive with Battle Cat, that the colors are meant to fit together. So over here, you also have your elevator that goes up and down, obviously. All right. You just have the string, and if I remember correctly, it's supposed to clip onto something to keep it up, but I don't fully remember where it goes. And you have your laser gun that is made to fit in that peg on top, so it doesn't move around, but it has a big base. You don't really need to worry too much about that. Again, this is your play set. You know, it's big, but when you look at how big the figures are, being 5.5 inches, it takes up space pretty quickly. So that is your Castle Grayskull. And again, There was one thing that people were complaining about that was missing. And that was, if I remember correctly, it was a cardboard cutout of this space suit. And then they did this Masters of the Universe, or what was it, Mattel Creations thing. It might have been it also might have been sold at one of their conventions. If someone remembers, correct me. I'm not too upset or not too proud to admit that I wasn't exactly sure where it came from. So, what we were missing was the spacesuit guy, and he was just a cardboard cutout. So, they came along and they decided that they were going to do an exclusive spacesuit figure. So, no more cardboard cutout. From what I can tell, this is a complete new mold. I mean, they may use some of the feet, I'm not sure. I really haven't looked at the other figures. The head actually pops off pretty easily. That's a little disappointing, to be honest, but I'm not really going to complain. He has his little vent, or his hose that keeps it on. He's got this little missile launcher that does come off, so that's kind of cool. And you can make him actually be an actual figure. So again, this was a $30 option that I was able to get, and I mean, I jumped on this thing really quickly. And I will say this, I was a little disappointed when I found out that they were doing something like this that was an exclusive, like a convention exclusive or Mattel Creations exclusive, because these things were really meant to go together. So there you have your what is he? It's supposed to be a spacesuit, but he's really a figure in here. And then you have your Spirit of Grayskull. And this thing is big. This is a soft rubber. This is your hard rubber. And if you look closely, you can see that it's a skull. And it does have the peg on the bottom, so you can peg it. That sounded wrong. Right in there, and you don't need to worry about it falling off. All right, so that's nice. It's kind of big, and it does crash into this, but again, if you're gonna do a display, you can use it anywhere. If you really wanted to, I mean, you could have it up here, like the Spirit of Grayskull. I guess you could have it, you know, just facing up like that if you want it on the outside, or you want to be looking on the inside, but I want to be looking at the face of Grayskull. So here comes the big thing, and this was something I really liked their idea. And I do remember this the eye here. Well, at least what always looked like an eye. And it was on the trap door, okay? So you have this eye right here, and this was your trap door, and it was supposed to fall, and you were supposed to fall into this pit. And yes, let me try and get in here and get this big tripod on it. So if you look at everything, it's all right there. You know, these things are trying to come out of this cage. They're trying to get out. And if you've watched Masters of the Universe Revelations, we saw this, okay? So we all remember that from our childhood. And I think what is actually kind of cool, I guess I'll show you the box really quick, is that they really kind of redid it, and they tried to make it look like all these beasts and creatures are trying to get out, which I think is really cool. They did an updated design of that sticker, and again, it's all embroidered. So this thing, I mean, this is like, if you want to display this with it, it's all worth it right there. So here comes the big thing, and that is the actual trap door. And this guy's meant to come off. So if you just wanted to set this down there, you can set it down and make it look like they're gonna fall into the trap and have it open up. So again, this is now your imagination playing, which is really what it's all about, to be honest. And this thing just plugs right in. And what was that thing called again? I apologize for not knowing all the names, but the Orlax of Primaria. And then the other thing that they did was they made it so right here it connects in and plugs in, so it just kind of snaps into place wherever you want it, and you can move it around. And you're definitely going to have to, because if you try and put it, oops, if you try and put it right over, then this guy is not going to hang out here, because this thing is really, really large. And if you look at the beginning of the video, my video, you'll see how I have him out with a figure with Beastman actually being grabbed by it. So you do have to move it. If you do get this and you don't have Castle Grayskull, or you haven't opened up a Castle Grayskull, don't put the sticker on yet, because unfortunately it doesn't cover up the sticker. So if I remember correctly, oops, I had it right around here, and you're just gonna kind of pop that up like that. So, and this is rubbery, so it's able to move around, but it does look cool. It looks like this thing is coming out of it, and it's grabbing whoever is, being dropped through the trap door. Gives it a more realistic feel. And to be honest, I think this is a really nice idea. I'm not a big fan that it was an exclusive, that it was a comic, some sort of comic convention exclusive or Mattel Creations exclusive. If you're gonna make something like this, and this here, you really should have made it available. Now, $30 price point I think is really good, because you're getting these three things to go with your display. And if you're a kid, honestly, you may not want this one, but for a kid to have this space robot who you create your own backstory with them, but then to have this grabbing your Beastman, your Skeletor, your Triclops, anything, I think it's wonderful. Just not a fan that something that is supposed to be a wide market distribution everywhere, that to get this to go with it, you have to be quick on the money to get it. I think Big Bad Toys might have had it, but their stuff was way more expensive, because that's what Mattel Creations did, or Mattel did. But I think this is a wonderful job from Mattel, what they made. Unfortunately, I don't like the way it was distributed. So anyway, that's a look at your Castle Grayskull, which is, you can find in what I believe any Target store, and your Mysteries of Grayskull. So let's wrap it up. All right, so there you have it. That is a look at Castle Grayskull and the Mysteries of Grayskull. What would it be called? Mysteries of Grayskull pieces, parts. I can't even think. I'm just kind of out of it. I've been rambling on for so long. But anyway, if you're able to get this, especially for $30 or somewhere around there, I think it's worth it if you have a display. The one thing that's not upsetting, but that's hard to do with Castle Grayskull is you have to find somewhere where you can put it almost 360 degrees so you can see the front of Grayskull, which obviously is the best looking part. And then if you're going to do something with this, you probably want it to look, so you're seeing the back side of it too. Have your figures in it. I guess if you find a place that you can do it and move it out, you can kind of condense your figures, because now you have figures in the back and the front. Because these figures do take up a lot of space. As you can see here, I will rotate just a little bit, and you'll see that I have a boatload of figures to go over. Like I said, I just got these figures in. On the unopened ones, I just got in today. And the other things, it's like I've kind of been procrastinating, but if I'm going to do the waves, and I've kind of decided to go with the waves rather than just like 2 figures or 1 figure at a time, I'll just do the whole wave. And since wave 8 came out before 7, or at least it hit the stores here, figured I would just hold off. And of course now everything has come in at once, including the Palace Guard, which I think is really, really cool. I haven't even opened one yet, as you can see. I think that might be my next video. But anyway, there you go. That is our video, my video, of my review and our look at the Castle Grayskull and Mysteries of Grayskull. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Follow the channel. I appreciate it. Anyone that follows knows I really go over the G.I. Joe stuff. And with more O-ring stuff coming, with that HasLab, God, I hope that HasLab, God, I hope it makes it, because I would love for a year and a half to do a review comparison of the Sky Strikers. I can't talk about G.I. Joe on the Motu one because there are a lot of people that probably don't care about G.I. Joe. I don't know who you could be. G.I. Joe's the best. But anyway, that's your Motu. That's your Castle Grayskull. One of the coolest playsets ever. I mean, even as a kid, I always thought it was one of the coolest things. I'll be really interested to see if they make Snake Mountain. This Origin line, I think they've done a wonderful job with. I've already said I think it's the best line for parents with kids that want to play with it, because they are sturdy. They are meant to be beat up just like the originals, and they have enough points of articulation to do good things. I'll actually post a video. I'll post a link to that video. So if anyone wants to check that out, I'm going to think a lot of people agree with me. And again, this is coming from a G.I. Joe guy. This guy had, the Terradrome and the aircraft carrier and this, the G.I. Joe headquarters, and had all these, but, it was my first love. But for me, looking at these figures, and even though I like classified more, man, I think Mattel's knocked it out of the park. And I know they've kind of rehashed Master of the Universe so many times, and I've actually avoided the Revelations line because I just can't afford to get into another line. As much as I would love to be buying those ones up and do reviews, I can't afford to do it. Pocketbook says no. Limited space in my house says hell no. So I'm just avoiding it. So anyway, I'm rambling on, which means it's time for me to go. So if you enjoy the video, or if you don't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs up. Like the channel, because guess what? I'm going to do more reviews and more toys as more stuff comes on, and anyone that's been following the channel knows the type of stuff that I'm passionate about, what I like doing, and what I'm going to post about. So again, Instagram, A Punk with Toys. You'll see when I post new videos, so you don't have to wait for my channel, because I know a lot of people get dumped and people don't find it. So anyway, get out there, do some toy hunting, get on Big Bad Toys, whatever it takes. Get the figures that you like, collect, enjoy your life. And if it's collecting, then good for you. Have a great night.